got technology. But hey, I want to welcome Coach Deere, man. This is good to have you, Coach, and appreciate you, man. Coach Deere's at Point University in Georgia, an NAIA Division. Well, they're in a Division 1 or Division 2 anymore. We've delved into that topic. We're not going to talk about that today, but man, if you want to kind of introduce yourself, your program, and just how long you've been there, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, Coach, I appreciate you having me on. We have a mutual connection through Jamin Copeland. I work with him at University of Texas at Tyler, so I know he was your last speaker. So, my name is Jake Deere. This is year 3 for me at Point University. We're located in Southwest Georgia, right on the Georgia-Alabama line. We're an NAIA institution, and like I said, going into year 3, so just trying to get better every day.
Man, he's coming up. Coach is coming up with a championship run last year. Man, I know COVID was weird because they didn't name a champion, but you guys, I looked it up a little bit, man. Y'all were first, man. It's probably as good as they've been. So the pressure's higher, man. That's what we were talking about before the recording going, man. You guys are 3-1, so you got to start all over and get these guys to understand that the process is kind of like recruitment. The process starts over again. Last year's gone, man. So even though y'all are off to a good start, man, how are the kids adapting? Because now y'all are the returning champion. I know that was a different kind of preseason for me with our players. How about you? Has it been different?
Yeah, definitely different. So we're currently 5-2. We're 3-0 in league. And check this out. This never happened to me in college sports before. We finished number 1 in the league, and had the best winning percentage in the league and got voted second in our conference tournament last year. How's that happen?
Oh, man.
How's that happen? So, no, coming back this year, I really thought our guys would have an edge, a chippiness to them, kind of unsettled business. And honestly, I'm pretty transparent. That's been our biggest battle so far, putting to death last year. And we're not last year's team. We've accomplished nothing. We got to do it all over again. And guys think that teams are going to roll over when we walk in the doors, and we got to put in the same level of work, the same intensity. They've got to do the same things in the classroom, the same things off the floor. And a lot of that stuff is, I call it togetherness, just how we relate to one another. Our bond with each other last year was so unbelievable. And we're fighting for that right now. We got to love each other better. I listen to a lot of coaches. They talk about, how your team treats each other off the floor. A lot of times those are the teams that achieve the highest level of success. And so we spend a lot of time in that team building connection part of this thing called college basketball. So,
man, well, like I said, part of me starting this, part of me for waiting 3 freaking years to start it was so afraid of technology, and I eventually said, man, it's not. I don't care if we if we have a little glitch or the sound ain't the perfect thing yet. What I care about and what I've been trying to do, and my mission now, my passion is, man, with all the problems with the game, I don't want to call it. I mean, I love the game. Talking about with recruiting and all the misinformation.
Yeah.
Like today's title with you, I'm trying to think of because I keep hearing I've been robbed, I've been tricked, so part of my mission with this, with college coaches like yourself, just coming on informal, nothing really scripted, is getting insight to the public with all these kids out there and understanding from a college coach's perspective some things that actually matter. So for me, without being tricked, I wanted to say, like, one question I had for you outside of NAIA, man, is how will a player know at Point University the difference if y'all are interested in them or you're going to offer them? What should a player and parent decipher as far as interest versus an offer?
Yeah. So no, that's a great question, and I think for every program it's different, right? Kids are so inundated with information from prep schools, college coaches, high school coaches, those kind of things. And I'm old school. I think the way I differentiate myself is I call them. I'm going to call you every Sunday. I block out 2 to 3 to 4 hours of time every Sunday to make recruiting calls. I've always done that. And the guys that I'm interested in, I want to cultivate a relationship with them over the phone. And
I'm not going to interrupt you. So, because what the area and world I'm in and what I'm trying to do and help connect not only coaches, but really increase knowledge and the preparing and what really is important. So if they're not getting a phone call from the head coach, they're getting they got, you saw them in the summer and said, "Hey, Johnny, if you're getting calls, those are kids probably that are higher up on points board.
No doubt.
So would you say that's one of an indicator that you guys are interested in offering them? Because again, I'm trying to help players understand interest ain't an offer.
Yeah, and I think anytime. So here's the deal. Here's a selling pitch that I got with Coach Copeland, UT Tyler, is if a head coach is calling you, they determine playing time, they determine rosters, they determine roles. If a head coach is calling you, they're interested. And you just got to get
that's genuine interest.
Yeah, that's genuine interest. And there's genuine interest in the basketball part, but then there's the character part, and then there's the school mission fit. Like we're a Christian institution. So not only do you have to be a good basketball player, but you got to fit us institutionally. And the only way we're going to figure that out is if we have a relationship. If I call you, you call me, I vet you, you vet me, you come to a campus visit, you see what we have to offer, if that fits you, and then we'll sit down and talk about an offer. But an offer, like I'm not the guy that go to an event and then boom, you get an offer from me 24 hours or 48 hours later. I don't do that. I don't know you. Yes, you're a good basketball player, but that's not all we're looking for.
Man, great lead in. Great lead in. I'm just trying to, again, get through, keep us at 20 minutes because, you know me, man. I mean, I'm instead of bouncing off the walls, because you imagine I'm sitting here with glasses now asking questions. But, I mean, when you're saying researching, man, you like the kid. You're interested in him. You go back. What are some of the things you're researching right off the bat before that kid starts to get into that Sunday phone call list on your board? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no doubt. Like I'm going to call high school coaches. I love AAU coaches. I love prep school coaches. But I think a high school coach has a window into who they are as an athlete, who they are in the school, those types of things. I like to find out where they're from, how they treat their parents, how they treat their coaches. And I love, honestly, when I go recruit live, I love watching them on the bench. How do they warm up? I find very few kids warm up correctly, and those are the type of kids I want. How hard do they work? How many high fives they giving? How's their communication style with their teammates in the warm-ups? How seriously they take that stuff? Because if they don't take that seriously, they're not going to take weights, individuals, yoga, film sessions, all that stuff that they're going to get to the next level. They're going to go about it the same way they've done in high school. And that, honestly, that's not good enough. That's not going to help us elevate our program here at Point University.
Yeah. And again, man, you're doing more than setting a coach. I mean, trying to win championships. So, I mean, money's tight these days. Transfer portal's bigger these days. And I think it's good the NAIA has gone to one level, to be honest with you, with everything going on. But two things you mentioned, I just want to kind of repeat and do a better job each time I come on these things is you're going to contact the high school coach.
Yes.
They still matter.
Yes, absolutely.
They still matter. I'm gonna say that as well. They still matter. It's one of my big missions with UC and anything I do when I'm running an event as any high school coach that wants to refer a kid because of those traits. Maybe the guy that's working hard as hell in the weight room, busting his butt in the classroom, is gonna have a good year. I like to have those guys in my events before they have that good year. Maybe they're just a high school player and I don't list them in my report, but maybe I see a guy early and the 91 guy, that's what I really gained a passion for. Same thing I did was a coordinator. It's the same kind of concept.
Yeah.
But it comes a lot from the high school coach because of those things. And then the second thing, and that's been universal, and I don't know why more kids don't do it, but being a great teammate. Like that's a big old poster board on maybe a high school, middle school with all this noise. Being a great teammate, you just identified. How are you on the bench? Are you enthusiastic? I mean, again, I just want to give these kids another trait is that, yes, if you are being looked at, the more you practice that, man, the better. the thing that, we're talking about the portal, and just your opinion, I haven't really delved into this topic yet, but how does the portal, if at all, trickle down to NAIA recruiting? Has it adjusted the way you recruit in the spring, or does it have no factor at all?
Yeah, so no, that's a great question, and I'll try to be concise and to the point. At the end of the day, NAIA is an older level of basketball, and I think you got to be honest about that. It's hard to win here at Point University with high school kids. Doesn't mean we don't recruit them, but a lot of times high school kids are very demanding in what they expect. They want to play. They want a beautiful campus. They want a beautiful dorm. They want a beautiful cafeteria. And at the end of the day, like, hey, what we offer is great education with great people and a great chance to win. And honestly, for a lot of high school kids, that's not good enough. And so,
why do you think that's not good enough, man? I don't care. We're chopping it up. This is a different talk show. I don't care about burning no bridges. I care about knowledge being uncommon, and that's a good thing. I don't want to be like the other ones, but why do you think that's the problem?
I think, every institution looks differently. We're not a 40,000 student institution or a 15,000 student institution. We're a small private Christian school. What we have is really nice, but it is what it is. And so what we have is great people with a solid education, with an athletic program that gives you a chance to have success. And what I found here at Point is we treat our guys really well. As a coaching staff, we work them really hard. We train them, we prepare them, and they grow as athletes and they grow as men. And that's what the guys want. And so I found that transfers love it here. Like, for instance, we got a kid from the University of Wyoming, a Division I transfer with 3 years left to play. He dropped from the Mountain West to us with 3 years left to play. Like, that's a joke.
But you think the high school kids are, like, because of the environment or whatever, are misled and it's a harder transition, and that transfer has a little bit more eating some humble pie? I mean, I'm just trying to navigate for that high school parent.
Yeah.
Not the transfer. You've already got recruited, but as far as the adjusting that you're talking about, and I wouldn't say spoiled, but just what does that mean? I mean, as far as
I think a lot of kids like
kids. Give me an example.
Like, for instance, you coached on the college level. It's hard to win with freshmen right away. And you get kids that, like, I ask them when they visit here, what's your expectation going into next year? Do you expect to start? Do you expect to come off the bench? Do you expect to not play at all? What's your expectations of being a college freshman? And it's amazing to me how many high school kids say, I'm coming there and start. It's NAIA. I can play at NAIA. And I'm saying, okay, we got 6'9", first team all conference kid at a power forward. We got 6'11", Division I transfer. We've got a 6'4", first team all conference JUCO kid. We got a 6'3", Division II transfer, second team all conference. You think you're going to start over those kids? Like, it's unrealistic, and it's, I love the high school kid that comes in and just says, hey, I want to work as hard as I can. And I want to get what I'm able to earn. Because I tell kids, I don't care if you're a returner. I don't care if first year. I don't care who you are. I'm trying to put the guys out there to give us the best chance to win. And guys are not honest. A lot of young kids and parents aren't honest with how big and fast and strong a lot of these players are. And it's hard for them to compete right away. So I think if they're humble and they're willing to wait their turn, kids can really walk into good situations at NAIs. But I think a lot of times high school kids come in with unrealistic expectations. And I would say some of the parents have that too.
Yeah, just looking on that point of just staying a little bit on that point as far as, a freshman coming in, or you just recruiting. Let's just take, your kind of philosophy aside.
Yep.
And with the portal itself,
yep.
Whether you used to take a bunch of freshmen, whether you used to take a bunch, because when I coached 9 years ago in NAIA, man, times were different. The portal wasn't that filled up. So I could see some coaches waiting longer. What would you tell a parent of a high school kid who is humble, who is hungry, who, could play at NAIA and has possibly got a package out there? Is it taking longer for Coach Jake, or coach at the NAIA in general, or I say the non-Division I levels that have money, JUCO, to pull the trigger on a kid you used to, maybe at the freshman, or vice versa? I mean, in other words, is that portal? Because I keep hearing, is it pushing it back?
Well, so here's what I would say. I would say, number one, every high school kid needs to go out and watch every level. They need to watch JUCO, high level NAIA, D3, D2, D1. They need to see those levels live. They need to watch a practice or a game in their area. Second, I think they got to get on those campuses and meet those coaches. Like I tell every kid and every parent, hey, you got to get with a coach you trust. Coaches are changing schools a lot. And at the end of the day, I think that trust factor, that continuity in a program is a huge deal. And then if there's genuine interest from a coach at any level, I think it's due diligence for that kid and that family to explore that all the way up to a decision point. Go find out about it. Go find out what their graduates do. Find out what the level of play is like. Find out what the current players say about practice and travel, and find out if it's a good fit. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of college coaches with the COVID, right? It's Eric Musselman, when he was at Nevada, get old and stay old. Older players are a lot of times going to be bigger, stronger, more experience. And so, yes, we do hold out for some big time transfers late in the year. However, I will sign a kid that's above my head that's young. If I can get a high level Division II kid that'll sign with me, absolutely. And you have different funnels, different recruiting funnels. So you got transfer 4-year, you got JUCO, you got prep school, you got high school, you got every different funnel you're working. And what I found here at Point is it's the 4-year and JUCO and prep school kids that at the end of the day, they're going to make the decision to come to Point. The high school kids, we can get them to the decision point. But in their mind, at that time, at 18 years old, in their parents' minds, they have better options in terms of what a campus may look like. And I would disagree.
I'm here to just tell you, man. If you, like you just said, you've already identified genuine interest. That's how I said. And you'll know if you're D1. I think the parents, or not the parents, but just people in general that kill a kid, being a Division I coach and a lead coordinator at one point in my life. I'd say you probably know, even though we were low, mid, major, whatever you want, you probably know early in your junior year if you're D1, you're getting a Bobcat. I mean, if you're not getting that, you need to open up the phone line on Sunday if Point College calls and take a look at Point College to see if they're a fit. It's okay to interview a school, but don't ignore a school if you have no real NAIA head coaches calling you, and an NAIA maybe sees something in you that somebody else does it. You want to take that call, because I think maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me. Coaches talk to coaches, man. I've talked about this. If you're big time in some schools that you're not even being recruited at, NAIA, D2, that could be talked about at events like on a kid. I mean, that's just human nature and perception. Like, hey, Johnny thinks he's better than he is, and it may scare off 10 more coaches.
Yeah, no doubt. I
mean, is that right still? Because that's how it was with me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And coaches, I think a lot of times, right, when I go out and recruiting, I find my best kids from other coaches. It's not necessarily the court I'm watching or the game I'm watching. It's about talking to coaches about so-and-so in this district or so-and-so from this school. I get a lot of my best leads from other coaches, and yeah, coaches talk, and it's good to have a positive vibe or positive reference from coaches in general. And I think for every kid, it's not about level, it's about fit. Do you want to go somewhere D1 and do you want to sit, or do you want to go and be all conference? Do you want to go somewhere and just be a role guy, or do you want to be a stud? Like, I think then we ask all those questions, like what is your goal as a player? And I think it's all about fit. And I think it's fit with the institution, with the degree, it's fit with the mission of the institution, it's fit with the coaches.
Style of play, level of play. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to create without being even talking about events or camps. I mean, I've always just wanted something when I was a non-Division I guy, which was 18 of my 21 years. that you could maybe find a kid that fit. It's really that simple.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
When I use the word fit, I mean, that's really all I'm trying to evaluate, and I'm trying to help them gain as much knowledge. This ain't about recruitment. The ones who take advantage of both, they pretty much navigate their own way to their highest potential level. But at least they're not tricked. That's what are you being tricked by what I get them like now that I'm on the other side is what I'm trying to do with this show and getting people like you to tell them and talk to them about what's important. I get the other side late, how they've been robbed or tricked. And so the more information, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
If they're learning off the show, if there's 5 kids, like I said early on, and 5 parents that watch you run and they take 2 things, good for them. That's straight from the source. So, moving forward, I got a couple of questions. I know you got to get back to work and prepare for the week, but level aside, I've always want to ask like one question that kind of involves what a kid, again, outside of his jump shot and what level he is or not from Division I to Division III, what's one thing that a player could do if you got a lead and you went to the court to watch them that can stand out to you? What stands out that says, dang, man, I'm going to call him Sunday? Like he's already a good, credible lead. What stands out when you leave the game that's going to make you say, oh, we want him?
Yeah, I think it's motor. And I know coaches talk about that. Obviously, you got to be skilled for there to be general interest. But like I care, like I know Coach Copeland talked about a care factor. When I'm watching you play, can I tell that you care? And I love that. I think that is so true. Like if you're having a bad game offensively, what else are you bringing to the table in your hustle? How hard you run the floor? What's your IQ like? Are you willing to give the one?
You're saying, hold on. So you're saying as a professional scout, you could tell if a kid, even if he's 0 for 8, because this is great, has missed 8 shots, that he's a next level shooter. And so you're not really going to scratch him completely for that, but you're trying to find out other things. You're blowing my mind here. You're blowing my mind, Jake.
No doubt.
Jeez. So you're as a professional evaluator. Like being not a guy from the show, not a guy on the court to tell you, hey, you got to play. You could probably tell that kid's a pure shooter, even though he's 1 for 5 in that game. So now you're looking at those things.
No doubt, no question. Because every kid's going to have an off night with me here at Point. And what else do they do that help us win? Can they still be a great teammate? Can they still play as hard as they're capable of? Will they still run the floor? Will they still dive on loose balls? Will they still give high fives? Will they still make eye contact with a coach? Will they still do all the things that winning requires?
Yeah, affect the outcome. Can they affect the outcome?
Absolutely.
And again, and that goes along with some of the mentoring and just what I do in general, in sense of telling these guys, man, make a coach come back and watch you again. They're going to be able to tell if you're a high level athlete, a college level shooter, whether you're 2 for 6 but you can always do these things.
Yeah.
It's like a learned trait.
Yeah.
And they're not dummies. They're gonna, that does factor in, because I think most kids hurt their recruitment and expose themselves by overhandling it 28 times. And it's just human nature. These kids are in the spring now, and they think that's going to jump out.
Yeah.
That's why I asked the question, going 7 for 23 and doing nothing without the ball in their hands. And I'm not saying that's when they're pressing, and they're pressing the wrong. They're pressing, and whether it be a college visit, an elite camp, they're close. Like I say, yeah, you're probably going to already have the research that he's a 42% shooter. Do those things. So, but I mean, that's a great information, and I think it's just a reiteration of what guys across the board at your level have been saying on my show so far. And I wanted to kind of ask you, and you've already kind of answered it, but I want to be as specific as I can for the last question and have 2 key points. And this is for freshmen, not transfers. Do you feel players coming through what they come through nowadays are more prepared than 14 years ago when you started, or 15 years, for the transition? Is the select. I'm not dogging anybody, but do you think the freshman now, as opposed to 15 years ago, is more prepared? I ain't talking about ready to play, but more prepared for a freshman. Do we have a setup that prepares these kids for their freshman year?
No, the easy answer is no, but I would say two specific things. Well, maybe three. Number one, I think the adversity factor. I think when the kid hits adversity, how do they respond? It doesn't help to complain about it. It doesn't help to go to mom and dad. Like, meet it directly. I love the kid that comes to me one-on-one. Coach, why am I not playing? Coach, what can I do to get better? Coach, can I watch more film with you? Coach, can I get in the weight room more? And those kids are very few and far between. I think so that the adversity factor. Number two, I would say, is athleticism and strength. I don't think a lot of high school kids and even junior college kids are prepared weight room wise for an elite level, whether it's Division III, NAIA, Division II, Division I. I don't think the majority of them are ready. And I was really blessed to work with Coach Copeland and gain the experience from the weight room and weight training from him that I've been really to elevate our program that way.
Oh, he's a machine. He can walk on his hands like 2 football fields. Most coaches can't do that. If there was ever a coach's charity event and you had to walk on your hands, man, I'm betting on Coach. But that's the whole news, man. But so just, I don't want to manufacture the answer, but I'm like, don't trade teams all the time unless you're mid-major and select basketball when you get benched. You don't want that circulating. Go through the varsity and get in, especially if you're on a main team or whatever. Go through a little varsity and get yourself some playing time for 3D hoops or one of these teams that coaches can identify with in Texas. Every state has its bigger teams. And it'd be like earning your way onto the floor your freshman year or sophomore year in college. But it's a hard world, man, because after a month, sometimes it takes more than one tournament to it does. And that's what I'm talking about, transition. These are just human beings and kids, the environment they're in. So I still am determined to flip, even if it's a small percentage of kids the other way, because it actually benefits them. I'm not just blowing smoke out of it. It benefits you. Not in that there's a unicorn here and there, but would you agree? Do y'all know those kind of things, or does that even matter if a kid's moving around in the summer and you were interested in making calls, but you found out Johnny left his team after this weekend again, his second team? Does that affect you making calls still, or you just start researching?
No, I think it's all about who and why. I think as a coach, you got to do your due diligence. Who is the kid? What does he bring to the table? Again, all those factors. What's his character? What's his ability? And then why is he jumping around? I think you got to explore that. It doesn't mean it's always right, but it doesn't mean it's always wrong either. And then I would say also with kids getting to your program, I think the kids that go through the adversity build trust, and coaches are going to play kids they trust.
Well, man, I appreciate, like I said, you being on, taking some time out on Sunday. I know you're watching film. You just got off of a game. I know how Sundays are, man. That's a time of rest, but a time for most coaches also to watch a little extra film and prepare for the week and get your plan ready to go. So, man, hopefully, like I said, that I continue to help grow the game. And my passion is really the non-D1 levels. That's why I'm talking to small college coaches. That's where a vast majority of kids are going to land anyway. That mid-major kids don't need really a lot of help. They're on every ranking. People know who the hell they are. And all they're going to have to do is figure out their first year if they want to stay in Division I or if they're going to be NAIA or JUCO, because they're going to have to figure out the same stuff we talk about. That's what I tell the higher level talents anyway. I've had some kids that were Division I at my events. I said, it doesn't matter what you learned today or got exposed today, unless you want to drop to NAIA. Nothing against NAIA, but if you're Baylor, you stay at Baylor.
Yeah.
In other words, don't be overwhelmed. This is still a trend to me, Division III all the way up to the high majors. it's what it is once high school basketball ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's good to have small college coaches from different regions kind of reiterating some different points. But I think the 2 or 3 things that I got today that haven't been said yet is that you still, and a lot of coaches still talk to the high school coach.
Absolutely.
I mean, so don't negate that. Again, unless you're in the 0.1 percentile, the mid to high majors. I ain't saying that select those guys don't help those kids either, but that call still is going to be made to the guy that knows who's in the weight room, knows who's in the classroom, knows who's doing things day in and day out around people around the school, the high school coach.
Yeah.
And that's not his job, but yeah, they'll probably get a call. And then you spoke again on, you could probably tell if a kid is a college level talent and he's having an off night as far as a offensive player, instead of trying to dribble 24 times. And it's probably smart to show, hey, you're going to help your team in a lot of other areas. I'm always going to help my team win.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, and so I think both those things for today, at least, because they haven't really been mentioned as much, is something that I want to get out of this show. Do things up the ball in your hands and make sure your high school coach likes you. I know it's kind of stinks because he plays a terrible zone, and that's the one they complain about. But I'm just saying it's okay to be a great, when you get by high school basketball, select's gone. If you're not getting recruitment right now, what you got right now in front of you, 2022s, is 30 games. I'd make that guy love me in today's world where the portal's there and all that. Put yourself on boards that way outside of dropping 20.
Yeah, and I would say this too. Like there's a ton of times or ton of circumstances I go to watch a specific kid and somebody on the other team ends up standing out. So you never know who's in the gym. You never know who's watching. Be ready.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Best of luck.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep bringing on, except for Ryan Marks, I'm going to keep bringing on ball dudes. I think I'm going to go with, now Copeland was there, but you and Havens, man. I think I'm going to try to find 3 more guys that kind of have a similar dome, man. Although you're looking better than I am, man. You've taken up Copeland's diet, brother. I like that, man. You're looking fit, man, for the year. So congrats, Coach, on the early good start to your success. Man, I'll be high, man. If you want that report, man, it's dudes. I try to do everything I can to help the small college game, and that's really what it's written for. So I emailed that. So hopefully, man, get that copy. And there's 120 guys in there, and you never know. Like you said, man, maybe there's a guy late. So
no doubt. I appreciate what you're doing. And again, just one more plug for Point University. Point is an unbelievable place for lives to be transformed. Everything is filtered through the lens of Christ and the lens of Scripture. And we teach that way, we coach that way, and we want kids that value that and want to be a part of that.
Fantastic, man. Appreciate you, Coach. I'll let you bounce out of here, and we'll get you off of here, and I'm gonna get back to work, man.
Okay, appreciate you. Appreciate everything you're doing.
I can't hear you, my man. Can't hear you.
All right, Coach. Good to see you. Good to see you, Coach.
My thing, if it dies, it dies. But man, that was good, and I think that was good by good timing and a short, nice interview. And I think Coach Jake, I keep reiterating, Coach Sherrod, what man I've been trying to speak about. Whether it's 4 kids in the stands, that for a long time, it ain't just hitting the streets and hit it running. When everybody says, "Oh, you're doing great things," I want just same kind of love. I've been trying for 6 years, man. And we're trying that mindset and that mind and that background and that information. And you've been with me with 3 dudes in a gym when I've offered it to everybody and 100 listening to the wrong stuff. Man, it's amazing. Those 3 dudes, the Levines and all that, Cody Farmers back then, all went to college, stayed in college, and have won championships in college and are getting their degree paid for.
Yes,
so
sir.
Back then, I'm very, very confident about Uncommon with what it really stands for and what coaches are really looking for. When you can call it UC exposure, it is UC exposure for a reason.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got that right. So now that you are going into the fall, what are you doing now that fall camps have ended?
I mean, I just finished my report, which is the 120 kids from the 8 camps that were, deemed top prospects. Proud last year that the report ain't a ranking. It's kind of like I said, an assessment written by college coaches. The level that we project in there is from college coaches that are on staff. And so that report right now is circulating amongst the non-Division I levels on 120 kids. I mean, I was cool to see 87% last year in that report, and last year's report, end up with college opportunities. That's about the level that the coaches that helped me, not just me, projected in the write-ups. We thought their highest potential was here. So it was good to see that. And so that report's out there. And a lot of it, man, is on kids now in every ranking. And that's really because
we're talking about write-ups. What is a recruiting game plan?
That's totally separate. What the recruiting game plans, got the athlete profiles and things of that nature. It's unlike a service, man, because you kind of got to qualify. I've only offered them to top prospects at camps. I've seen them. They got a real shot. And I just make it really affordable. So we do a little bit of everything from editing film, picking programs that fit, me talking to coaches about their needs. And so I build a plan for both sides, which is a lot more work, kind of like somebody who films highlights. Mm-hmm. I'm taking all my knowledge and all my list, and we're creating more of a plan than a random profile company that calls you and has a script, a database telling you're going to get to college. I don't sell that. I just increase the heck out of your probability by building a plan that fits Sherrod. And so that's what we're working on. I'm now opening that in November for players that qualify. And really, you just have to have varsity accolades and want some real help and have a real serious drive to play college basketball for me to work with you, because I make it so affordable.
Okay,
so it's
last question.
It's just an in-season plan.
Yeah, last question. That sounds good. How does a parent or player learn more?
Just again, DM me on Twitter at uncommonbball. They can email me uncommonbasketball@gmail.com. I literally had 2 20-minute free consultation calls. One player was from Nevada that was referred by somebody I get the same thing, and he's a hell of a player. I can't believe that nobody's talking to him. It's tougher times.
Yeah.
And the kids that lasted last year and got their school paid for, that were on recruiting game plans, it takes 6 months. That's why I'm offering it. But the kid in Nevada is ranked number 2 in the state. I don't know what Nevada competition's like. So for me, you have to have some right up the bat varsity accolades, and it starts with an evaluation. So if you didn't come to that camp and you want real help, and you don't have a lot of recruitment right now, but you're coming off all district, then we start with a professional evaluation. I even have college coaches evaluate and write notes. And that's how we start, because I didn't see you in person. At least it's genuine. If you approached me to build you a plan and you're an all district or a kid that's serious about playing college ball.
Okay. Sounds good, Coach. Well, you have a good rest of your day. And, we'll chop it up next time.
Man, just give me that link. I am going to keep on grinding and go from 30 subscribers to 300 to 3,000, because it's too much by the time we get to Christmas break to have 25 to 27 college coaches giving that information out for people not to know about it. And that's on me. I'm going to figure out a way to reach a broader audience with these videos.
Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We get those followers up.
No doubt, man. No doubt. And appreciate everything you're doing. So I'll talk to you soon, and shoot me that link. I'll get it out circulating.
All right. Peace.